Good morning, students, and welcome to the second story on flying. The name of the lesson is The Black Aeroplane, written by Frederick Forsyth. The lesson, Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth, reflects on how one's judgment gets distorted due to fantasizing or having dreams and how it creates problems. In this chapter, the narrator is a pilot who is so eager to meet his family and have a good breakfast that he takes the wrong decision of facing the storm instead of doing the right thing and turning back. Miraculously, he somehow manages to escape with the help of a mysterious aeroplane. So, let us read the lesson and find out what actually happens. The Moon, the Black Aeroplane by Frederick Forsyth. The moon was coming up in the east behind me, and stars were shining in the clear sky above me. There wasn't a cloud in the sky. I was happy to be alone, high up above the sleeping countryside. I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane over France back to England. I was dreaming of my holiday and looking forward to being with my family. I looked at my watch, 1:30 in the morning. I should call Paris Control soon, I thought. As I looked down past the nose of the aeroplane, I saw the lights of a big city in front of me. I switched on the radio and said, Paris Control, Dakota DS088 here. Can you hear me? I am on my way to England. Over. The voice from the radio answered me immediately. DS088, I can hear you. You ought to turn 12 degrees west now. DS088, over. So here, as we can see, that the story is about a pilot who feels very happy and contented to fly over a city that is sleeping, fast asleep, because it's 1:30 a.m. He's flying from Paris to London, and while he takes his flight, he dreams about the long holiday time that he's going to spend with his family. He also fantasizes about the wonderful, the tasty breakfast that he would have shortly after landing. And as he crosses Paris, he looks at the dark clouds that were a sign of the upcoming storm. The right decision would have been to turn back for the sake of safety. But I checked the map and the compass, switched over to my second and last fuel tank, and turned the Dakota 12 degrees west towards England. I'll be in time for breakfast, I thought. A good English breakfast. Everything was going well. It was an easy flight. So here, as we can see, compass is an instrument that helps pilots to find out the direction. So he looked at the compass and then he switched over to his second and last fuel tank and then turned 12 degrees towards England, and he looked forward to having a wonderful breakfast. Paris was about 150 kilometers behind me when I saw the clouds, storm clouds. They were huge. They looked like black mountains standing in front of me across the sky. I knew I could not fly up and over them, and I did not have enough fuel to fly around them to the north or the south. I ought to go back to Paris, I thought, but I wanted to get home. I wanted that breakfast. I'll take the risk, I thought, and flew that old Dakota straight into the storm. So here, as we can see, that uh, the author, the pilot, decides that he should go back to Paris, but then the thought of having a wonderful breakfast, so he decides to risk his life and head straight into the storm. I'll take that risk, I thought, and flew that into the storm. Inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. It was impossible to see anything outside the aeroplane. The old aeroplane jumped and twisted in the air. I looked at the compass. I couldn't believe my eyes. The compass was turning round and round and round. It was dead. It would not work. The other instruments were suddenly dead too. I tried the radio. So, in this situation, the pilot gets into the storm and then he realizes that his compass was going round and round, and then he realized that it had failed. It was dead. It stopped working, and so did the other instruments. Then he tried the radio. Paris Control, can you hear me? There was no answer. The radio was dead too. I had no radio, no compass, and I could not see where I was. I was lost in the storm. Then, in the black clouds quite near me, I saw another aeroplane. It had no lights on its wings, but I could see it flying next to me through the storm. I could see it flying. I could see the pilot's face turn towards me. I was very glad to see another person. He lifted one hand and waved. Follow me, he was saying, follow me. So here as we can see that when the pilot realized that his compass, the radio, he tried the radio, but and all the other instruments had failed. So he was very disheartened. He was very feeling very nervous and frightened. And at that moment, he saw outside the aeroplane, he saw another aeroplane flying beside him. And so, he, in that moment of desperation and nervousness, he was quite glad that there was another plane, another aeroplane there for company. And the other pilot lifted one hand and waved. And he seemed to say, follow me. And so, he felt quite happy to follow him. The pilot thought in his mind, he knows that I'm lost, I thought. He's trying to help me. So he turned his aeroplane slowly to the north, in front of my Dakota, so that it would be easier for me to follow him. And so, while he was just glad that he had company, that aeroplane went ahead of him and he decided to follow that aeroplane. I was very happy to go behind the strange aeroplane like an obedient child. Is that somebody who listens to the instructions of an older person? So here this pilot was following the other aeroplane. After half an hour, the strange black aeroplane was still there in front of me in the clouds. Now this was something that was totally unexpected. Even though he flew for half an hour, that aeroplane was there in front of him, leading and guiding him out of the clouds. Now there was only fuel in the old Dakota's last tank to fly for 5 or 10 minutes more. I was starting to feel frightened again, but when the pilot realized that the fuel was very less and it was sufficient only for another 5 or 10 minutes of flight, he started to get nervous again. But then he started to go down and I followed through the storm. Just then, the other aeroplane, like started going down and he followed that aeroplane down through the storm. Suddenly, I came out of the clouds and saw two long straight lines of lights in front of me. It was a runway, an airport. I was safe. I turned to look for my friend in the black aeroplane, but the sky was empty. So when the pilot followed the other black aeroplane and turned itself down. And when he came out of those dark black storm clouds, he realized that there was a runway lit up with several lights, long strain of lights in front of him. He was very happy that he was safe. And then he turned to look for the other guiding black aeroplane, but he couldn't see it anywhere. So finally, I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota near the control tower. I went and asked a woman in the control center where I was and who the other pilot was. I wanted to say thank you. So, when the pilot finally landed the aeroplane, then he went to the control tower and spoke to the woman there and asked her where the other pilot was and where the other plane was, because he wanted to go and thank him personally. And so when he said that, she looked at him very strangely and then laughed. Another aeroplane up there in the storm? No other aeroplanes were flying tonight. Yours was the only one I could see on the radar. So, who helped me to arrive there safely without a compass or a radio or without any more fuel in my tanks? Who was the pilot on the strange black aeroplane flying in the storm without lights? So, here, after he spoke to the lady in the control tower, he realized that she told him that there was no other aeroplane flying in the sky. His was the only one, as she could see on the radar. And when he heard that, he was quite surprised because he had seen with his own eyes, and it was due to the other black aeroplane that got him safe without a compass, without a radio, without the other instruments functioning, and with very, very little fuel. So he didn't know who it was because of whom he had landed there safely. But he knew for sure that it was someone who had taken the trouble to get him to make sure that he reached home safely. So, in this lesson, children, who do you think the man in the other aeroplane was? Or how did he happen to see that other aeroplane there? Who do you think it was? The author did not know. To his surprise, he was very astonished and had a lot of questions unanswered in his mind. According to me, God always comes to the trouble of people who believe in him. If we have faith in God, just as we saw that Lencho had complete faith in God, here this pilot did not pray to God, nor did he ask for help, but God many a times comes to the help of those people who have faith and trust in him. So according to me, it was God sending timely intervention or help to this pilot and making sure that he reached safely. But each one can think for yourself that who it could have been or who was the one responsible for making this pilot reach home safely. Now, let us go through the question answers that are given in this lesson. I take the risk. What is the risk? Why does the narrator take that risk? The narrator was flying over France back to England in his old Dakota aeroplane, and he saw huge clouds in front of him. He wanted to go back to Paris, but he also had the desire to go home and be with his family and have a wonderful breakfast. He didn't have enough fuel to fly around the clouds, so he took the risk of going straight into the storm. Then, the second question is to describe his experience as he flew the aeroplane into the storm. The narrator was flying back to England when he took the risk in order to fly into the storm. He was so eager to go home that he wanted to have a good breakfast. So he was not able to see anything once he got into the storm clouds. His aeroplane started jumping and twisting, and then he realized his compass, the radio, all the other instruments in the cockpit had failed. He was totally confused as to what to do. Why does the narrator say I landed and was not sorry to walk away from the old Dakota? So the narrator escaped the storm all safe and sound because of the guidance of the pilot in the black aeroplane. When he landed there, he wanted to thank that pilot personally who had saved his life. So when he walked to the control room, which was there, he didn't feel sorry to walk away. In fact, he was quite happy that he had landed safely. What made the woman in the control center look at him very strangely? The narrator got down from his aeroplane, walked to the control tower, and asked for the other aeroplane and the pilot. But the woman looked very strangely because, according to her, his was the only aeroplane in the sky, and the radar showed that there wasn't any other aeroplane there. Who do you think helped the narrator to reach safely? Discuss this, and you could give your own reasons for your answer. From the story, one can understand that he was in deep trouble when his aeroplane was trapped in the storm. But from the story, it seems that there was some supernatural power that helped this pilot. Logically, we could come to the conclusion that his sixth sense, his determination helped him. But we all know that it was not so, that it was some help given by God, and so that helped this pilot reach safely. Thinking about language. Study the sentences that are given below. They look like black mountains. Inside the clouds, everything was black. In the black clouds near me, I saw another aeroplane. The strange black aeroplane was there. So, in all these four sentences, the word that is repeated is black. That refers to the darkest color. In A and C, black mountains and black clouds refers to the color black. Whereas inside the clouds, everything was suddenly black. Black has a variety of meanings. I prefer black tea means tea without milk. With increasing population, the future of the world is black, means very bleak, without any hope. So try to guess the meanings of the word black in these sentences. The first one is go and have a bath. Your hands and face are absolutely black, means they are very dirty. The taxi driver gave Ratan a black look as he crossed the road when the traffic light was green. A black look is a very annoyed and angry look. Then in the third one, the bombardment of Hiroshima is one of the blackest crimes against humanity. It is the most wicked crime. Very few people enjoy Harold Pinter's black comedy. That means comedy without fun. Sometimes shopkeepers store essential goods to create false scarcity and then sell this in black. That means they sell it at a very high price. Villagers had beaten the criminal black and blue, means they had beaten him very severely. Now let us go on to the next question. Look at these sentences taken from the lesson. The first one, I was flying my old Dakota aeroplane. The young seagull had been afraid to fly with them. In the first sentence, the author was controlling an aircraft. In the other example, children are flying kites. The seagull was afraid to move through the air using its wings. So, we've got to match the phrases given under column A with the meanings given in column B. The first one is fly a flag is to display a flag on a long pole. The second one, fly into a rage, is to get extremely angry, that is, become very, very angry. Then fly along means to move quickly or suddenly. Fly high means to be very successful in life. And fly the coop is to escape from a particular place. Like coop is used for chickens. We know the word fly of birds and insects means to move through air using wings. Tick the words that have the same or nearly the same meaning. So the words are swoop, skim, spring, dart, flutter, hover, glide, sail, float, descend, flap and soar. Now, children, I would like you to read the lesson a few times and try and understand the story. So you will be able to write the question answers in your own words. Have you ever been alone or away from home during a thunderstorm? Narrate your experience in a paragraph. I would like you to do all the writing exercises because that will help you like express your thoughts and ideas and also improve your vocabulary. Okay, so thank you children and have a nice day.